It's not the right market for it, you know?
I love it. Then we got to get so, man, today we've got a great guest. I'm literally looking forward to jumping into some of these topics that he is an expert on. But before we do that, we can introduce Uzair Ahmed, and we are all drinking a little bit. We're having a little bourbon, and he's having a girly drink.
Yeah.
Was it a gin fizz? Is that what you have?
A gin smash.
Gin smash.
Strawberry
Nice.
lemon. So like
All right.
it's really good. So it's definitely a girly drink.
I'll still
All right.
cheers that.
And so I will address some comments that I've gotten. Why do you guys think you guys can drink and then give people business advice? And so let me give you that because we're way better after we've had a couple drinks
We're much more charming.
and way more way more astute and educational and erudite. Oh, look, all those fancy words.
Better looking,
So
funnier.
so let's jump into the entrepreneurial journey that is yours. So you're working as a sales engineer. I think I saw that on the LinkedIn profile, but was your first go at this, was it a side hustle? What was it? I mean, how'd you get this idea to start a business?
Well, here's what happened. Okay, so I was working as an engineer for a few years after school, because I thought that was like a normal route. And then I read this book. I read this book that changed my. I don't know if it's good or bad, but The Millionaire Fastlane by Andrew DeMarco, and it was just talking about like the different ways of making money and to wealth. Right. Number one was the sidewalk, which is no way of making money. You spend more than you make. Like that was so the reason why I read this book, by the way, to go back is like when I graduated from school, the first thing that I wanted to do was learn everything about money I could. Because I feel like everyone just like puts their head in the sand and doesn't think about money at all because they make it seem like a complicated topic and that nobody wants to read it and learn about it, right? But that is the most expensive decision that you can make, outsourcing that. And then after seeing how like financial advisors took complete advantage of my parents, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to make the same mistake as they did. So that's why I was reading all these different books. And then I stumbled upon this book and it was talking about different ways of making money. And it was like, the number one was like, you can make $1 million a year and you can still be poor because you don't save a penny. Look at Mike Tyson.
Right.
And then the other one was the ones that everyone was recommended, which was like the slow lane, which was you get a high paying job or a job, and then you save the money, you invest in the markets, and you're 50, 60 years old by the time you're rich. And then whatever happens, happens then. But you're relying a lot on hope. You're relying on other people, you're relying on the market, you're relying on good health, you're relying on the fact that you can even you'll care about the money when you're older too, right?
So
there's a lot of,
Uzair
like,
is betting on himself.
I
Is what
love
I'm
that.
hearing.
That's exactly what I heard. Bet on yourself. All right. So what's the fast lane?
And the fast lane was you have to build a system that's scalable. So you have to build it's like effectively he was just like, hey, you need to have some sort of distribution, some sort of a problem that you're solving, and you have to solve it in a way that's scalable, right? We compared it to like building a pyramid using a crane versus doing it lifting it brick by brick with each stone. If you have a crane, that's your system. It's gonna give you leverage, right? So he was really leverage, and he was saying things like, you work a job, you do your stuff, you go to your boss, you ask for a raise. Like you want to make more money, you got to ask for a raise, and but you have to like ask someone for a raise, and you only have 24 hours a day you can possibly work. There's no way you can do that, right? And you can't really make real wealth doing that. But when you have a business, you can always adjust your prices. You don't have to ask anyone's permission to adjust your prices, and then you can also always add more people to work for you. So you're not limited by anything.
I love it.
Realistically.
So all right. So you're working for the man. You came out as an engineer, which is a great degree. Love that, right? I got my degree in engineering too. So let's go with that. So you're out rocking. Well, you got this idea? Was it a side hustle? Did you quit right off the bat? I mean, what'd you do?
No, I was just trying different ideas on the side. Like what? Because my job was 5 days on, 9 days off. I worked in the oil field, and so I had a lot of time on my hands, right? So I would always try like different things on the side, and this was just like one of the many ideas that I came up with. And in hindsight, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but it was a very, very difficult time. And I learned very early on, well, later on, too late. It was like, don't try to reinvent the wheel. If there's a business model that no one else has implemented, you don't want to be the first guy to do it. Or if someone else has tried that and failed, there's your answer. You don't need to be the smart guy and be like, oh, I can make this work.
Nice.
Because
So
likely,
I got to back up. You
Yeah.
were working in an oil field, and for our listeners, he's calling us from Edmonton, Alberta, which aren't the oil
Is it-
fields a little further north than that?
It's the Texas of the north. Yeah, it's up north. So that's why I had 5 days on, 9 days off, right? Because I had to travel to work.
What were you doing there?
I was a water treatment engineer. So I was responsible for making sure the water was good enough for the steam quality was good enough.
So
Because Wisconsin,
Edmonton is actually moving south. It's balmy there.
How about
compared-
that?
Yeah. To
Yeah,
the,
right. So he goes north for work and goes back to Edmonton for his summer,
That's right.
his 9
He's a
days.
snowbird.
Yes.
you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's last year. It was 30 degrees in April, 30 degrees the whole Celsius, 30 degrees Celsius the whole year. And then it only got cold for like a week in January. Global warming is a thing here. It
All
is
right.
not that
He's calling it out. Global warming is a thing in Edmonton. I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of our gold nuggets. No,
And I'm telling you guys, it's gonna be a hidden goal. It's gonna be the best place to live in 20 years from now.
I let 20. I'm banking on Edmonton to be.
You get some
20 years.
beachfront property in Edmonton.
And as
There's
we
another
talked
side
about,
hustle for us.
Yeah, and as we talked about, Alan and I have both been there, and I used to fly in there back in the late '90s, and man, that airport is so far away from Edmonton. So maybe it'll
Not
grow
anymore.
up.
Not
Yeah,
anymore.
getting close. I
No.
love it.
Getting
See,
close.
we're moving there.
City's expanding.
All right, let's go back to this. I think this is one you actually said something that you learned in that book. With your model that you were working, that's 5 days on, 9 days off. It's really hard to spend money in those 5 days because you're up there working probably.
Oh no, I saved so much money.
So you were saving money. Were you saving the money with the idea that I'm going to start a biz with it?
No, I was saving that money to continue investing. Honestly, it was a lot of money. I think I was like 22 years old, 23 years old with over 6 figures saved.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
very
that's
easy to save money.
you know you're an anomaly. You know you're not even the top 1%. That's top 0.0001%.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, if life is so easy, so young, let me go make it harder for myself. And then
Let's go. Attaboy. I love that idea. No, that's
I was
my
like-
mantra. This is too easy. This got to be harder. I got to make it harder.
let's,
think you
let's
just- you
throw
just
it
did
all
the
away.
podcast.
Let's throw it all away and start from scratch and start from zero. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, that was not a good idea, man.
So the first deal was called Instatech.
Instamec, yeah.
Instamec.
So-
What is it?
Instamec is a mobile mechanic business. So we started off trying to be the Uber of mechanics. We would have like a platform where mechanics would sign up on it. Customers would find a mechanic that would go straight to their house and fix their car on site. And then as the process evolved, I realized, this is a service business. So it's not a tech business. So the service has to be really good. So I started hiring guys and doing all that. So I pretty much built an HVAC business without installs.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's all. So I'm a service only HVAC business. And there's very few HVAC businesses that exist doing service only, if any. So you can only imagine my margins and how small, how tight I had to run my ship to make money.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough
And
business, man.
It was a tough business, right? So it's hilarious though, because it's a tough business, but it ended up not being that bad. Like I looked at our numbers for the last few years, they're pretty good for a business which makes $100, $200 at a time using highly skilled labor.
Wow. So, all right. So you're still in that biz. You have that one. You didn't sell.
It still runs. Yeah, I've stepped back from it now. I just collect my paycheck. That's it. I don't do anything for it.
Ah, there you go. Now we're scaling. Now we're getting back to that 6
Now-
figures someday.
Now I'm working on other stuff, which is more exciting for me.
I love that. So let's talk about the one thing I had to talk about. That's because in the handyman business, that's why I said I'm gonna make my millions $80 at a time. And literally that's what he's doing is you're making your millions $100 at a time in that service only business in HVAC. That's tough.
I hate that idea.
Yeah.
I hate it so much. It doesn't make sense. $80 at a time. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
It's so hard to make $80. It kills me to even say that because I'm doing it. You can't spend any money on acquiring customers. Yeah, your margin is high, but your average job value is so low. There's no like huge jobs that you can get. Like with installation in HVAC, I can make so much money right off 1 or 2 jobs, right? And it's a sales game and you can afford to invest in marketing, you can afford to invest in customers. It's like there's so much, and then it's like a forever business, right? But
All right. So
making money-
let me ask you this. You're a smart guy. You started this business. What were you not seeing, or how did things unfold compared to the plan that you originally had?
well, I realized a couple of things. Okay, so I thought it was very scalable, but then I realized mechanics that are willing to work outside and that are good is limited resource. It's a very limited resource. It's not like a mechanic at a shop. And even mechanics at shops are a very limited resource, right? Now you add another factor to it. The other thing was it's extremely inefficient. So mechanics make money on efficiency. You have 20 cars in the shop, you can go through 20 cars in a day. I can only do a couple of jobs a day because I got to drive between jobs, right?
Hmm.
So the small number you make per job doesn't make up for the inefficiency of the business. And you might get efficiency at scale, but that scale is hard to get because it's going to be limited by mechanics, right? And then because you make such few dollars per job, you can't afford to spend that much in marketing and acquiring customers.
Yeah, low ticket biz is hard, especially because in the margins, while you say they're high, they're still tight.
They're
If you don't
still
get them,
low.
you still, yeah, because you got to keep them fully affiliate loaded on what they're doing and keep them rolling
Yeah.
on a tight schedule. So you're right, running a mobile mechanic business or a handyman business like I've got, it works at scale, which I've been able to do, but it is hard. I mean, it's a hard business, and you don't. But I
Even at
also have the
scale,
remodeling kicker, so
yeah.
modeling
Even
is
at
the
scale though, like you think about it, how many big mobile mechanics companies do you know of?
yeah. I don't actually. When you said that, I think I know none.
Yeah, and how
We
many
I don't
huge
know that.
HVAC companies do you know of?
yeah, I can obviously name off like
There's
20.
your answer right there. Like that's the answer that you should be looking at. Like, yeah, sure that there's a huge group, but you can always get a little bit of that, right? Like, why try to get water out of a what's a
Stone. No,
let's say like it's
Stone.
just like it's like the idea is this like
Trying.
why try to collect water from a little trickle stream, a stream that's trickling in versus there's a huge lake or ocean over there. And yeah, there's lots of people at that ocean, but there's still so much more water, right?
Yeah. No, that's a great point. Yeah. So all right. So mobile mechanic business still rolling, but you're just collecting the check with that. So obviously you had an aha moment and said, I'm going to go do something else that's going to scale. Is this how you came up with the cottonwood automation?
Yeah, so it was like a process to get there, but I knew a lot about HVAC because I have a lot of clients that are in HVAC from my mobile mechanic business. We service their vehicles, and I've developed a friendship with a lot of my clients. I just got to help with their business and understand. And I was like, wait a minute, this is exactly what I'm doing, but your business is way better.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I've seen you
Business
guys.
envy.
Oh, I seen you in front of my eyes scale from 500 grand to 5 million in 3 years. And I was like, you're not that much smarter than me. So maybe I'm picking the wrong business. And that's when I realized, you know what, I am picking the wrong business because as I started working in more HVAC companies, I was like, how do you guys make so much money? This is unfair. I'm seeing the processes, everything's so broken, and you guys are still printing. And I was like, well, you know what I'm going to do? So I don't want to ever buy an HVAC business because I'm so burnt out of the hiring and firing technicians
Yeah.
and maintaining staff and all that day-to-day operations. But I realized that I really enjoy the business side of things, building SOPs, building out systems, understanding how all different parts work together, building a lot of automations and strategy and all that fun stuff, right? And I also found out that a lot of HVAC owners, they find themselves on the day-to-day grind too much, that they never have time to look long term or work on the business. And then even if they do, they don't even know how to work on the business.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're in there fighting the fires every day, hiring, firing, scheduling, customers. I mean, yeah, it's just, yeah, you're right. It's too busy to do it. So you had to iterate through this and started to figure out what the problem is. What was the first thing you solved with automation, or what was the first thing you were able to test out and give it a shot and see if it worked?
So it's not too, so I started off trying to do automations, but then I realized very early on that a lot of business processes were broken and inefficient, that I didn't actually do much for automation. I had to fix their business processes first. And that's how I got more into consulting side of things and building out systems than the automation side of things. The automation is easy once you figure out like the system, the business machine itself is proper,
Got
right?
it. Yep.
But if we're talking automations alone, like some of the sexiest automations that I think I built were automations with based on the weather, they run different ads on Google. So if it's really cold, they run different ads, or if their schedule is completely full, they don't run ads. So you don't waste money on things you don't have to waste money on. The other thing too is I have an AI answering phone calls. We had 300 phone calls the other day, and AI answered most of them because I only have two guys on the phones, right? And they couldn't handle all the calls. So AI was answering them and it was doing a really good job as well. And I know people are like, oh, AI answering phone calls, I don't like that. But a lot of my clients are now doing that for voicemail and after hours, and it is very good.
All right. let's dive into that because I don't know. Obviously, everybody on the podcast, as they listen in, they know that Al and I are a little seasoned, aka old. So for us old guys, man, they're throwing AI around like SEO was 10 years ago. Oh, AI this, AI that. But you just talked about one specific application. I want to know more about that. So tell me how an AI answers the phone at night.
Just answers, hey, thanks for calling, blah, blah, blah. This is Tony speaking. How can I help you today? How can you do better today? Oh, my furnace isn't working. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that. Can I just get started with some information before I go through that process? Ask you, are you a member or not? Oh, no, you're not. Don't worry, I can help you out with that. Can I get your first name, last name? What kind of issues are you having? Blah, blah, blah. Explain the issues in detail. And be like, okay, I can send out a service out technician. It'll cost you $150. Do you want to schedule it? And this does the whole thing for you. And then it sends the information to you by Slack or whatever messenger tool you use. Or if you use Service Titan, you can automatically book into Service Titan and look at your schedule and do all that for you. And then boom, and you get a recording of the call. And it also does a pretty good job at like answering questions it's just not programmed for either.
All right. So I just heard about this.
I mean, is it kind of like right now you have the fake person on the other end and press 1 to do this and press 2 to do that. Are you saying
No, it's not like that. It's like
it's gotten to the point where it sounds like some people may not know they're talking to a robot?
No, that's actually the problem. People don't know they're talking to a robot. So
Really?
they talk over it, they just like get confused. And I've had like customers complain, like, that guy was an asshole. I'm like, why? He's like, well, he told me that they can't help us because of this, this, and this. And then I was like, well, did you know the robot? They're like, oh.
I can't be mad
He's
at a
like,
robot.
actually, one customer was like, I'm a consultant and I know that AI is going to take over people's jobs. So that guy better watch himself because AI is going to take his job. And I was like, funny you say that because that wasn't AI.
I love it,
We should do an AI podcast.
dude.
I want to program you.
All right.
Yeah.
So all right, we got to get to this. It's so funny that we talked about, and you actually just brought up Service Titan because it was Tommy Mello who was just talking to my buddy saying, in 2 years, nobody's going to be answering service calls. It's all going to be AI. And he has a huge garage door business too, in here in the area.
I was on his podcast earlier this year.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I'll go back and listen to that one. So yeah, so when he said that, I said, you know what? You're right. I can see that because right now I want to shoot 2 of my call ladies who are answering the phone calls. But I said, but I just
They don't listen to this podcast, do they?
no. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You don't know which 2 I'm going to shoot, so you better all keep
You
working.
have an idea.
So, so now they're all on edge. What did he say? What is it? All right, back to this AI. I love this stuff. So you were able to program this AI to listen to do the prompts, answer the calls, all HVAC specific, yeah.
I
And then
did HVC and my Instant Make business.
okay, so and then you're able to get this thing going, and then it can feed either via Slack or if you have Service Titan, it feeds the text in there. And
Yeah.
you're saying that it's accurate. It doesn't mumble. It doesn't miss anything. You get the phone numbers.
It's not perfect, but
Yeah.
this is right now this is to replace voicemail and after hour calls, right? So it's not perfect.
But
Sometimes
it's
it works
way better than going to voicemail or way better than nobody answering the phone.
1,000,000% better, right?
Yeah.
Even
Uh-huh.
it
Yeah.
does a good enough job where it'll give you all the information you need. Like most people just call asking information, it'll give you all the information, pricing, everything. And based on the job, and it does everything for you. So it even like someone called to cancel a job last minute and it was like, no, your $9 cancellation fee. And then the guy was like, bro, but it's not fair. I just booked it 2 seconds ago and blah, blah. And he's like, you know what? I guess you're right. Like your logic makes sense. So I gotta waive the cancellation fee. And I was like, you just out
AI
roboted my
did
robot.
that. AI
you
did that.
You just out logic my robot. I was like, damn it.
That's awesome.
Well, because I was just thinking when he was talking about it, it's like the nice thing about AI versus an employee is they're not going to forget to say certain things that you want them to say.
Right.
And then they're also going to have the guts to throw the rate out or whatever that maybe some of your employees wouldn't. Well, now I'm finding out
100%.
that
And then
the
other
robot
thing-
buckled.
Hey, don't forget the last part. I don't know if you guys deal with this, but after your call center staff gets old relatively fast, dealing with shitty customers all the time, getting worn down, like you develop a certain sort of like edginess to you in a way. Is that the word we're looking for?
crusty,
You're not, yeah, you're not
bitchy.
as happy. You're not, yeah, you become more of a Karen over time, right? You just hate these people, you lose your patience. But an AI never does. AI never does. It's always going to be friendly.
Oh,
It's always going to ask you how it's
AI
going to
can
make your day
handle
better.
that's the topic right there. AI can handle your Karen.
Yeah, it's going to logic.
who
It
needs
could out
Karen? I've
logic.
got AI.
Dude, exactly. It could out logic your Karen. She's gonna think, I want to speak to the manager. Well, I am the manager. And you'll
Oh,
never get upset.
oh, that's good.
And
I
you can
love
give it
that.
a set of rules, but this is the rules of business. It is what it is. Like, I don't care. And you don't wear down your staff, your human staff that has to deal with these people.
Wow. All right. So this is your proprietary automation. Yeah.
It's something that I'm building on. It's like something that I am building on. It's not proprietary because all AI is just using different plugins that already exist.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
you're using different plugins, but to come up with this. And so when you call, I actually heard this on, believe it or not, CBS Sunday morning. They were talking about doing ticket reservations with AI, and they had the guy calling on the speakerphone, and the AI was actually going, okay, hang on a second, let me look at that. Can I get some more information? And they were
That's
putting the
exactly my that's
ums in
exactly
there.
my AI.
They're putting the ums in
Yeah.
there.
My AI has the ums and ahs to make it more realistic.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I fear change.
well, if you're listening to this podcast, what you don't know is that we've actually programmed this whole thing, and Alan is AI. He doesn't know it yet, but he's actually not even here. He's in an alternate universe.
Take me to your leader.
Right. This is where, because again, they're talking about, so I use Chat GBT, the free one, just to come up with social media taglines or to give me ideas about
Don't
stuff.
use a free one. Don't insult ChatGPT like that. You gotta pay
Okay.
for the paid one. ChatGPT 4 is infinitely better. I can't even use the free one. It's so bad.
Oh, all right, done. All right, look at that. He
Or
just
or
made
or
Sam a lot more
cloud
money. Which one?
or cloud.ai, CLAUDE.ai. It's free, but I find it does a better job at writing than ChatGPT does. It sounds less AI. AI.
Ish.
Right. Yeah. No, I've tried a couple of
Sounds
them,
less robotic. Yeah.
and yeah, and I have to say, yeah, you're like, you get some ideas, and then you just go kicking around. It's just like, give me a snazzier tagline for. But I was showing my handyman, right? We have training every other Wednesday, and I was just telling him, I'm like, hey, look, this is what AI is, and so one of them said, can you ask him how we can become millionaires? I said, all right, let's look. How do you become rich? And you know what it says? Comes back and says, spend more than you make. And it just kept going through. I was like, guys, at the end of the day, see, it's actually blocking and tackling. It's saving money. It's showing up. It's being disciplined. It's doing great at your job today
No, I
to
don't
make.
like that. I want to
Yeah,
get rich quick. I want to get rich tomorrow. Okay.
right.
Tell me,
Those guys.
tell
It
me
was
what
like
crypto to buy.
right,
That's what I want AI to
Go
tell
to
me.
Vegas with Chris.
right.
Put all the money on the
Up,
Lions.
up until 11:15 on Sunday night, I put all your money with Chris. He was doing really good until 11:15 on Sunday night.
And what time did you go to bed?
11:45. In a storm. In fact, I was out with a bunch of guys from other cities too, and I was at the table and I lost it all right there, right then. And I didn't even say I hadn't seen these guys in a year. And I said, F this, boom. And I just stormed off and didn't say goodbye.
Wow.
I could have AI'd that. See, there you go. I should have been nicer like AI is. All right. So this is fascinating about how AI, because when I was talking with my buddy, and I listen to Tommy occasionally as well, and have talked to him over the past. But when I heard that, I was like, yeah, the more I think about it, man, I think you're right. I just think call centers are going to be the way of the back. You're going to have one or two people who have to take maybe those escalation calls in the beginning, but I could see this really becoming a thing.
I've got clients that are using my AI instead of a call center. They're canceling the call center contract using AI instead. It's already happening. So, and this stuff moves so fast, you know.
So, are you working with just HVAC companies, or are you working with, I mean, who else are you working with
I just HVAC. I'm
right
just
now?
dabbling in HVAC. Yeah.
Double
HVAC
down.
and yeah.
So if I came to you and said, I have a handyman company, would you help me?
I would help you as a friend.
Okay.
But I'm not going to charge you for that. I'm not going to be that involved in it.
Just for the listener,
Thanks,
Chris
buddy.
gave
Yeah.
him puppy dog eyes over,
I did
over
too. Yeah.
Zoom.
So if you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, it was like, please help me. No, I like that. Honestly, we've heard that, the niches bring the riches. Doubling down on HVAC makes total sense. Staying right in that lane. I mean, that's where the money
Yeah.
is too, and especially here in the U.S. I mean, They're everywhere, especially you come down south, man. Everybody. We were talking about that. If your air conditioner is out and you're in Texas or you're in Florida or if you're in Georgia where we are and it's 90 in the summer, that's an emergency call, bro.
Mhm.
That's not
Yeah.
oh, I can just wait. That's an emergency call. You know, when they say, "Oh, can you come fix some wood rot around my house or maybe come fix my deck?" That's not an emergency call. So that's why we're a lot different than HVAC because our stuff is just like that juicy fruit when you're checking out of the aisle at the grocery store. You know, it's oh, it looks good, I'll grab it. But if you don't have your HVAC running, man, you're dead. So that's where those guys do really well. I know that's awesome.
Yeah, no, HVAC is it's I wanted I used to be more like helping any home service company, but now I'm like, you know what? I'm only gonna focus on HVAC and plumbing. These guys you can make small changes and just like 1 or 2 installs per month increased. You can increase install by 1 or 2, you made them 30, 40K more. Like something you made your money back tenfold, right? Versus with like other businesses where you make a lot of money, you make small amounts of money at a time, you have to do a lot more to make the same amount of money as a couple of installs.
I see your wheels turning. You're thinking about getting in the HVAC business, aren't you, Chris?
I wouldn't blame you. Everyone else has
Honestly,
thought of it.
no lie. 3 years ago, 2019, right before COVID, I was in talks to buy an HVAC company. It didn't work out, and then COVID hit, and we just stopped it. Yeah, I know. Because I've got a pretty good brand here in Atlanta called the Trusted Toolbox. I mean, we're the biggest handyman company in the metro area, which is good. So I could build on that. And I thought,
Yeah.
and I HVAC and plumbing. So now maybe it's actually an HVAC company comes and buys me, and we're the handyman component. I don't know, but we got to see who's going to gobble who here on this one. But if I can go AI, maybe I can AI gobble. Is that a
No, I love HVAC businesses, but so does everybody else, and that's why they're charging such a premium though, right? So it actually, if you have a handyman business already, you have a wealth of clients, right?
Oh yeah.
You start your own HVAC company and use it and do that. I can give you the playbook.
Yeah. All
You
right,
run
man.
with it.
Look at the look on his face.
I
I'll
know.
give you the
I
playbook.
know.
You run with it. We'll build your HVAC division. We'll market to everyone that already uses you. It's going to be easier to acquire customers. You're
You
going to
could
have
be
that.
huge.
And I could do
This
it all with
way.
an AI call center.
I know. You don't
Yeah.
have to add any more
Exactly.
trusty
I
Karens.
actually have someone that I'm helping out with this who's got a brand for an HVAC company and everything, and we're doing everything AI as a testing ground for him, like AI call center, AI chat, AI booking, no humans involved.
Holy
Just
crap.
booking the job.
Oh, that's scalable. Take me out of the handyman business. Take me out. Take me out now. That's awesome. I saw that helper. That was cute. The cat says, "Let me in. These guys sound like they're fun. We are fun." All right. So AI is you're working with. How many clients are you working with now, and how big is your team?
I have a business partner on board that is a lot of the operation stuff. So his background is that so apparently everyone at Harvard Business School is going to HVAC too. So that's
Hmm.
what I'm seeing as well. So he did all that. He had his own business, went to HBS, and a lot of people at HBS are now trying to go into HVAC businesses.
Oh my God. Really?
It's
So
just
the
like
comp
anything, and they'll eventually kill the industry because there'll be too many people in it.
Good. Well,
well,
I'll go
before it
fast.
was going to before it was like going to Goldman Sachs or McKinsey, right?
Right.
But now
Yeah. I mean, that was
going to
the
your
play. Yeah.
now
Go
it's
to
owning a
Europe,
local plumbing
iBank,
company.
go into
Yeah,
the HVAC. You know,
yeah.
we've actually had somebody on the podcast who did the big MBA, was in iBanking, and eventually now does nothing but marketing for painters. So maybe we're into something. Maybe home services is the hot space to be, and especially with AI. So you've only got you and a business partner, and then a
Yeah.
bunch of AI bots running around programming this.
Effectively, yeah, effectively. So we work with 5 clients at a time. So right now we're almost at capacity. We have one more spot left, but that's the majority. We can only do 5 at a time, right? Then we have a waiting list. But I'm looking to expand the team now because we're at that point where it's like, you know what? We have the playbook. So it's because I only focus on HVAC businesses, it's the same playbook for every business
How long does
with
it take for
differences.
them to make that transition once they employ you?
Uh, it will take to see any meaningful change about 6 to 8 months.
That's a great question, that one. So
Yeah.
I know we keep scoring who asked the best question, but that was a good one because that's a big part. So somebody says, look, I'm in the HVAC business already. I've got a good HVAC system, but if they work with you, It's going to take 6 to 8 months to convert over into the AI. And you
Well,
talked
no,
about,
it's not just AI. So AI is just a very small part of what I do, right?
okay, let's talk about
I
what do you do?
So normally when I come to a business, I figure out, okay, what data do we have here? Most people don't have any data available, right? Where are the missed opportunities here? Like I look to consider a business as a bucket, and then water is the leads you put on top of the bucket, right? And then I see where all the holes are. So where the leakages are coming out. And then I try to find that out. So it's different for every business. Like some businesses, I'll go in and be like, there's no retention work whatsoever. No one emails their previous customers ever. That's the first thing I want to do, right? Get all the quick wins like that. So it's a very holistic approach where we look at marketing, operations, sales, finance. Some guys don't even know how much money they have in the bank or how much money they're going to have in the next 6 months, right? So it depends on the business, but we have different playbooks for each part of it. So when I say 6 to 8 months, that's not to see an ROI. The ROI can be seen after the first month, but it's to see real, meaningful, lasting change because we like to work on one thing at a time. That's the one thing about business. So when I work with my clients, we only work on one thing at a time. We don't change everything at once.
I like it. So really, when you talk about Cottonwood automation, it's more like HVAC process reengineering, HVAC
Yeah.
igniter, or HVAC hey,
It's
ChatGPT, AI that sucker for
it's
me, will
more
you?
of a digital operations agency than anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
So for everybody who's listening to the podcast in all the continents around the world, and they're not in HVAC, but they're listening to you and they're engaged in this, like, this is really interesting. Talk to them about, why is it that you only approach one thing at a time, make one fix at a time? I mean, I think that's something that can translate to any business.
Well, the thing is, focus is so important, right? When you want to see meaningful change in the business, it's compounding small, different changes every day. When you see a company that's grown over 3,000% or 400% or whatever those crazy numbers are, that was like 1% better each day kind of thing, right? They changed one thing about their business, but they didn't just change it and moved on. They changed it and they reflected back, was this the best way of doing this change? And seeing the results and continuously moving and working on that one metric of that business until that was like good enough to what they wanted to be, right? And then they move on to the next one. Because if you think about it, most of us, we set goals by saying, I want to double my business next year. Meaningless goal. What does that look like? You a bottoms up approach. You're like, okay, if I want to double my business next year, how many leads do I need? What's my conversion rate going to be? And then what's my average job value going to be? How much am I going to charge for this? What's my repeat customer rate going to be? So you got to find like 3 or 4 key metrics. And then you got to figure out all the projects which are going to improve those metrics. And then you build out, okay, based on these metrics I need to improve, here's all the projects that I can do. Now I got to like prioritize which ones are going to have the most impact and the least cost and ones I'm most confident about. And then I got to execute on those projects to the best of my ability and make sure they're done properly. So they actually make a difference to my KPI that I'm trying to track. That takes time.
That does. Yeah, no, I mean, that's the right way to approach it. I mean, that's what I try to do in my business as well. It sounds simple. And just like everything, right? You want to be a millionaire? It's simple, right? Spend less than you make,
Yeah.
go out and make more money. And this is simple too. Prioritize where you want to go. If double your business is your goal, you're like, oh, he said, don't double your business. No, that's not what he said. He said, if that's your goal, get underneath it because it's the
Yeah.
process that's going to get you there, not just hoping and wishing that advertising is going to hit and your current processes are going to help you double because it's just not going to happen. You've got to
Yeah.
work through it. So which one is the first thing you start working on? And that's the hard one for me. I'm actually getting ready to do that with my team. And so our one this year is going to be changing out our software to help us grow.
Yeah.
Because
Honestly, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy.
right,
Simple and easy are two different things, right? Simple and
Mhm.
completely
easy
different,
are-
right? Simple
Yeah.
isn't easy.
Yeah.
Actually, simple is never easy
Mm.
because if you have a simple business, that's hard to do.
Yeah,
And
I know.
I've made a really complicated business, and that's really easy to do.
That's easy to do. It's very easy to do a complicated business.
And you've even made it more
And
complicated.
I
Yeah.
try to do it every day
Yeah.
to make my
Does
pain
it
even harder.
it doesn't require much thought. Just go and just figure it. Oh, it works, but it's a very complicated machine. So let me talk to you about that. You want to change your software. What are you guys using right now?
So we're using a software system called Bonago, which came out of the 1-800 Got Junk. So it's a web-based
Yeah, it's one
software.
of the first ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went with them 7 years ago.
Mhm.
And they haven't grown with us. So we're evaluating, and you brought up Service Titan. I tried to get on a call with Service Titan, and they told me I was too small, and I was like, I didn't realize 35 employees was too small, but okay. So I'm going to try
Well,
again.
they didn't say that to you. 35 employees?
No, I put something wrong in on the website when I
Yeah.
said show me the demo. So we're literally just starting. In fact, my meeting with my people are going to be all about, all right, this is our process today, because we got a pretty well documented process. I've got an operations manual, I've got KPIs, we know what we're doing on this stuff. But if the sky was the limit, all these ideas, what would you do different in sales? What would you do different answering the phones? What would you do as different as a technician if we had a different piece of software that would enable all this cool stuff? And so that's what I'm going to start with. So I can come up with my wish list, and then we'll start looking at software later this year. So what would your recommendation be?
I'll have to investigate your business and find out what your pain points are.
Right answer, baby. That's what I wanted to hear. Because one size doesn't fit all. But you had brought up Service Titan.
Yeah.
And that's one that probably will go on the list. Like I said, I was just going to get a preliminary. Let's go look at it. I got a buddy here in Atlanta who runs it, so I've been up to see it once. But yeah, we're gonna get the. I want to get my business requirements down from my people and have them break it down. So we're gonna go off site for 4 hours and take in my key leaders.
You know what?
Come up with
Do
that.
not turn down the idea of using something like Retool or one of these no-code, low-code tools and do it yourself.
Oh boy, I don't even know what that meant.
I
but
think you
okay.
just broke Chris.
Retool.
Well, don't type in Retool. Just the idea of using a low-code, no-code tool and rebuilding everything yourself exactly for your business, because all these apps, Service Titan, Field Service Management, all these tools are just a bunch of databases that connect together, right, with a front end.
Right.
You can do that yourself and just have it exactly how you want it, and some integration, and then you have to pay upfront a lot more money, but in the long run, it might be cheaper.
I love that idea. I mean, that's the hard part, because you got to weigh how much is it up front. And the reason I went with Monago originally was it was low cost to implement. And at the time, 7 years ago, it wasn't like I had, hundreds of thousands or even tens of thousands sitting around to do it. So, but at this point,
If you'd have left the blackjack table just 30 minutes before, you'd have had it.
Alan, you have no idea, buddy.
You know what? Listen, we're not going to talk about what ifs, because I got a lot of what ifs myself.
Yeah. So no, I love that. I think that's right. And the right answer is, what software you're going to lead with? No. Back up. What are your business processes? And then,
Yeah.
and you brought up something that actually I've had brought up to me before, is that if you have a good set of requirements, you probably will be able to get this relatively inexpensively today, which, back when I first started would have been a $50,000 to $100,000 engagement. It could be a lot less because of the lack of or the ease of building the tools, I guess they say. I don't know. I didn't
Yeah,
understand.
the low-code stuff, you can build it yourself. And it's not like back in the day, because I built my own field service management tool, right? So you have a developer and there's a lot of coding and stuff. This one, you don't need that much in coding. It's like just a bunch of Excel spreadsheets, with the front end. You can build a full field service management tool. Have some integration set up with Twilio and everything. You got SMS, you got email set up. You can get this whole thing set up. And then it's just that, like, let's think about it, okay? 35 people. How much do you think you're going to pay per person? $100 per person per month on average?
Yeah, that's about, yeah. Right now I'm paying a little less than that, but that's where I thought I was going to be at.
$3,500 a month, right? Now add that by 5 years, times that by 5 years.
Yeah, that, oh boy, I can't
12
do that,
times
man.
5, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. It's a full salary per year.
Yep, you're right.
Right? And then then multiply that by forever effectively. And now you're also stuck with that software. With a no-code solution, you're not actually stuck with that. You can always transfer to the other guys later on, because you have all the information readily available to you, because you're just using nothing but databases, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's a great point, is that you could do it and then logically put it together. And the data it's pretty simple, especially in home services, right?
And you're going to be paying for the no-code solution to be $200 a month, unlimited users.
I'm interested. I'm gonna go investigate this, Alan, but not right now.
Yeah, because you're an engineer, Chris.
Did I
Yeah, you're
mention
an
that?
engineer.
You were
Yeah.
kind of throwing that out there. I mean, this should be easy for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just this
Everything's easy
dumb
for me.
sales guy. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, we know
I
you
mean,
couldn't,
I
Mr.
know
Enterprise.
you guys are making fire, and I'm afraid, but
Yeah.
an engineer like
'Cause
you,
anybody
piece
can
of
sell
cake.
commercial real estate,
No,
Alan.
I know.
It takes a real smart guy to be an engineer. How about that? Hey man, before we let you go, we're gonna ask our favorite 4 questions in a minute, but Is there anything we haven't touched on you wanted to get across to everybody?
Oh no, you guys touch on everything.
I love it. I love it.
Well, let me ask one quick question. Your clients all over the world, anywhere?
All over the world, yeah.
Your
I prefer
processes
North
work?
America,
Okay.
but I got, I'm not fluent in any other languages, so North American or English speaking country would be ideal.
All right. How does everybody get a hold of you? We're gonna put it on the show notes.
Cottonwoodautomation.com, and you can just click Let's Connect, or you can just email me directly, Uzair@cottonwoodautomation.com.
Awesome.
I like the way he thinks.
I do. Yeah, man. He definitely, I mean, especially in the home services world. I don't know how much time Uzair, you have spent with other guys in the field or doing this stuff, or guys with calluses. They just
Last
don't
10
think like
years.
that, right?
10
I
years.
mean,
Actually, no, my entire career.
it's calluses, it's sticky notes if they're lucky.
Shooting yourself in
maybe
the
a flip
hand with a
phone.
nail gun.
Well, that's called a hand clamp.
Yeah,
I've
okay.
said that before. That's these marks right here. So they just don't think like that. They don't think about that, and when they start thinking about it, they immediately shut down. It just becomes something you're like, no,
But
let me get back to what I
they
do.
can do something that's way harder. Like I can't fix a car or fix my HVAC unit or do all that stuff. I find that to be more impressive, at least me personally, because a robot can do all the stuff that I can do. The little AI can do everything under the sun, but it is not going to fix your HVAC unit.
I have said that the minute I can get a robot handyman, my guys are gone. I actually said that in
Yeah.
training. I said, guys,
But that's going
you're
to be
so
so
lucky I
much
can't find a
harder.
robot.
That's going to be so much harder to do.
Oh, it is. Well, actually, and so one of the guys came back and showed me. He goes, "Look at this!" And it was a robot doing drywall at a commercial building. He was just doing finished drywall.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm like, uh-oh,
Uh-oh.
we are in trouble. No, AI is not coming for you yet. It's coming after you call center people. To look out. All right. I just don't know which
You
to
know what
shoot.
though? I think the safest job is dentist. Have you seen the robot dentists?
Oh no,
I wouldn't go to a robot.
no
dentist.
way.
Nope.
Oh, they have like these drills that come up to you and like this. It's the scariest thing ever. So I feel like dentists are going to be very safe.
Yeah,
There's
I think that one's safe. There's no.
There's
Oh
no
my
way.
God.
Robot
No one's going to
colonoscopy.
be the first person to quit.
Ooh, don't like that. Oh man, this has been awesome. If you didn't learn something today, man, that's on you because this stuff is coming. You better get in front of it. If this is the first time you've heard of this stuff, AI and automation and process, you know what? Get in front of it. Understand your processes. But it was there hitting
Actually, I
right
have
on it.
something
You
to
got to
say.
understand your processes first before you're going to start automating. Just don't go out there and run around on it.
I
So
got one
let's
thing to say.
go.
I got one thing to say. I want people to consider how much cheaper and how much more money they're going to make if they have AI handling all their back-end processes. Because one thing that I was thinking about was I spent so much money on call center staff, but now I have one guy or two guys who are in Colombia, by the way. So I'm only paying them $2,000 a month to handle 300 calls a day because of AI. Now that is a number you spend like 100, 300, like you'd be spending like 20,000 a month to handle that much, right?
Yep.
Mm.
But the cost is 1/10. And where does all that money go? It just goes straight to me. So that's a lot of think about it this way. If you're spending like 4 or 5 grand a month on call center staff, you don't have to. That's a Lamborghini payment.
Yeah. Let's go.
Man, I tell
need
you,
a
it is
Lambo.
so good that he doesn't do home services that you do because he could charge you whatever
I know.
and you would buy it.
I know.
You would buy it.
I would.
He's good.
He is good. I like him.
Uh,
All right. Let me ask you. All right. You brought up actually your favorite
yeah,
book.
you
We
already
always
did
ask.
that one.
So we love your favorite book, Millionaire Fastlane. We're going to make sure we pump that out to everybody so they can get a read on that. So let's talk about the next one. What's the favorite feature of your home?
My loft where I'm right now.
Right. Okay. I like it. Why is that?
It just feels very cozy. I love my house. I just bought my house, my first house. I really
Yeah,
like it.
congrats.
All right. Especially in Canada, dude. Man, those prices. Every time I watch that Love It or Listed instead of Canada or HGTV, you're like, they throw out those prices. You're like, dude, what? Dude, where are these
Yeah,
houses?
I think the price is really expensive in Atlanta,
Yeah.
but it's right by the river. I'm like right on the river, and it's just I love this house. I love it so much.
Awesome, man. I love that loft. And he got his first house. We're eating that up. All right. One of the things we like to talk about is that we are customer service
Freaks.
and we love customer service. What is a customer service pet peeve of yours when you're out there and you're the customer?
When they act like they're doing you a favor when you call them. Like I hate that so much. When they just have that attitude on their phone, like they're doing me a favor by answering the phone.
Can you actually make your AI sound like that? Kind of snotty.
That'd
Yeah,
be
you
even
can.
funny. Right?
You can.
Yeah, right. If now once the AI picks up the tone and goes, "Oh, you are so Karen. I'm going to Karen you right back."
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what you want? Are you sure? Let me check. Oh, I'm sorry. He's out today.
Yeah. I also hate when people don't follow up.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
a big one.
it pisses me off. I'm like, listen, I got a bunch of quotes for H heat pumps, and these guys don't follow up. I'm like, if you guys had just followed up, I probably would have bought it.
Yep.
Yeah, make it easy, man. People want the easy transaction. You may be more expensive, but a lot of people just want to push that easy button. I got other stuff to work on. You get in front of me and I'll buy from you. But if you don't want to get in front of me, I'll go find somebody else and I'll buy from
Yeah,
them.
it's just, I'm like, listen, don't make me work, man. But if you just followed up, you would get what you want from me. But I'm just like, these guys are just like, there's so much opportunity in HVAC. That's why I don't want to do anything else because I'm like, listen, I try to get a new heat pump installed and I got a bunch of quotes. These guys spent time with me, but they didn't actually follow up.
That's
Like
killer,
that.
man. Oh, I know that.
So
And the
dumb.
owner just
And
kills
you hear
when
it
they hear that.
over and over again.
Always.
Over and over again.
Yeah, I just got an email today, and I was because we just had our sales meeting this morning, and I popped in. I'm like, all right, guys, this is our slow season, man. Hit the phones, hit the emails, get them, go, get back on them on the follow up calls, and then I get an email. Haven't heard from him. I'm like, oh, dude, was about so yeah, he got a shot, by the way.
Yeah.
Replace
trying
him
to
with
get
AI,
yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, I just took him out of the kneecap though. I didn't
Yeah.
take him. He's not dead. He's just
This is
limping
where
around a little bit.
this is where automation helps a lot, right? You don't rely on human beings, just it automatically takes care of itself.
People
Yep.
suck. Let's go robots.
All right, go robots. All right.
Yeah. Go
Last
robot.
question. So you're brand new in your house. So we would ask, what is a DIY nightmare story? But do you have one fresh off the have you hung a mirror? Have you popped a pipe? Have you hit
No, and I don't want to have that for you, okay? Like that's a question I don't want to have an answer for.
Yeah.
For it, and
I know.
I do not want an answer for it, okay?
All
I'm
right.
very happy right now. Don't burst my bubble, guys.
Don't. All right. You're gonna say, you know what? I can hang that mirror myself. And then and you're like, look, everything's working. And then you go downstairs and you're like, how come every time she flushes the toilet, there's a water spot here in my dining room? How about that mirror you just hung, buddy? Oh shit.
You know what I do? I have those like clip-on things.
Oh, there you go.
Command
Yeah,
strips.
Command
yeah,
strips.
so-
That's the way to go.
Yeah,
Dude, this
so
has been a blast. I have enjoyed this. Hopefully you have as well.
Likewise.
Guys, keep going up that mountaintop. Go out there, give us a follow, tell your friends about us. We love getting out there, telling everybody about this. We're starting to pick up some steam, getting a lot more emails. I'm actually getting a lot more follows on the podcast. And there we go.
A big deal now.
We're kind of a big deal. Let's do this. We're out of here. We got to
Thanks,
go make
Uzair.
money.
Appreciate
AI.
it.